Arthur Stanley Jefferson was born in 3 Argyll Street, Ulverston, Cumbria, on June 16th, 1890, to Arthur and Margaret Jefferson, or to use her stage name, Madge. As one of 5 children, 1 girl and 4 boys, but sadly one of his brothers Sidney only lived for 4 months, and due to their parents being actors, they were brought up mostly by Madge's parents who owned 3 Argyll Street. He went to school in North Shields and helped at his father's theatres before the whole family moved to Scotland, first to Rutherglen, then eventually settled in the south side of Glasgow, where Stan went to school in Queen's Park. I say went to, he was registered there but spent most of his time skipping school to go to theatres and music halls. His father at the time was manager of the Metropole Theatre in Stockwell Street, where young Stan helped out in the theatre doing various jobs, including taking tickets in the box office. One of the perks that Stan had thought up was that he could give his teachers at school free tickets to see his father's shows, which Arthur, AJ to his friends, didn't find out until he got a letter from one of Stan's teachers saying thank you for the free tickets. So you can imagine how this was received by AJ. One of the Metropole's nearest rivals for trade was round the corner in the Trongate. The building was called the Britannia Panopticon Music Hall and was run by Albert Ernest Pickard from Bradford in Yorkshire, who was a very keen supporter of P.T. Barnum. And one of the shows that was on was Amateur Night. Stan came along to the music hall, saw the sign, and decided he wanted to have a go on stage. So he persuaded Mr. Pickard to let him have a go on stage, after he said to Stan, "Why should I let you on?" To which Stan replied, "I'm funny." So Stan decided he would need more clothes for his act, which he called himself Stan Jefferson, he of the funny ways. So he told his dad he was going home to finish his homework, but instead he went home, went into his father's wardrobe, took out his dad's best suit, top hat, found a shirt and made it look more tramp-like, and set off for the Panopticon. His father, who thought Stan had gone home, was amazed to find that he'd popped into the Panopticon to see Mr. Pickard, who greeted him with the words, "Your boy's on next." Stan walked onto the stage facing a full house, and being only 16, he got flustered, so much in fact that during his act he tripped and kicked his dad's top hat into the orchestra pit. While it was being retrieved, it was crushed. By then the audience were laughing, clapping and stamping their feet. So a star was born. AJ had noticed that Stan was wearing one of his suits, and when Stan bent down to collect his hat, he spied his dad in the audience, which made him even more flustered as his dad realised it was his best suit. And so because the next act was nearly ready, the manager pulled Stan off stage with a shepherd's crook which caught the tail of his dad's suit and ripped it up the back. Stan ran from the theatre, terrified of what his dad would say or do. Surprisingly, his dad sat Stan down in the office, gave him a drink and said that he'd loved his act and that he should pursue comedy. He eventually joined Fred Carnell's comedy army and met a young Charlie Chaplin, whom he understudied. And after many years and trips between Britain and America, Stan was signed to the Hal Roach Studios and was put in a film called Lucky Dog with Oliver Hardy, who he would later partner in 107 silent and talking shorts and films. Stan decided to change his second name to Laurel, after realising that his name, Stan Jefferson, was 13 letters, so he changed his second name to Laurel. So Stan Laurel of Laurel and Hardy fame had his debut at the Britannia Panopticon Music Hall aged 16 in 1907.